Cycling is a beautiful sport for so many different reasons, but I think perhaps greatest of all is the fact you get to immerse yourself in beautiful environments like this, relying solely on your legs to power you. Now, there's so many different routes out there and roads, but whatever you may be interested in, be it mountain passes, quiet bike paths, or maybe some small little lanes in the countryside, there's something out there for you, so don't worry. And if you are looking for inspiration, look no further. We at GCN have come up with our most beautiful roads around the world, so you can plan your next bike trip. Yeehaw, here we go. Okay, you're probably wondering where I'm riding today, but I'll reveal that later because it's one of my suggestions on the list. But first off, let's start with an epic switchback climb. The clue's in the name really. Lacets translates to shoelace in French, but it's also a slang term for switchback or hairpin. And well, this climb has 17 of the beauties. So it makes sense really that it will be called Les Lacets de Montvernier. Despite being right in the heart of the Alps, close to some famous climbs such as the Col de la Madeleine, this climb only featured in the Tour de France for the first time in 2015 on stage 18. And it caused quite a stir when it did feature. Les Lacets de Montvernier. Looking forward to trying that one, I tell you. The name is Scottish Gaelic for Pass of the Cattle, as it was historically used as a drover's road. Bealach Na Bà, pronounced Bealach Na Bà. I hope I've got that right. Sorry if I do, I haven't, but I hope I've got that one. Now, anyway, Scotland isn't necessarily renowned for its beautiful roads, with other, perhaps more exotic locations sometimes taking precedent. I mean, maybe it's to do with the weather. You don't get as sunny weather in Scotland as you do in Ireland, do you? Just messing. But Bealach Na Bà is quite possibly one of the most beautiful roads in the world. Also known as the Applecross Pass, it makes up part of the North Coast 500, a route around Scotland which Si and Mark Beaumont rode last year. Climbing 600 metres in 9 kilometres, this is quite a long climb in the UK, but the views are worth it for that pain in the legs because you are rewarded with amazing views across to the Isle of Skye. Absolutely stunning. You can't help but stand and stare in awe. Here at GCN we love riding on the island of Majorca, and it has to be said there are a number of different places you can ride on the island that are stunningly beautiful. But one particular location has piqued our interest, the Port de Valldemossa. Now, I think a bit of a theme is building here of stunning switchback climbs with a beautiful sea as the backdrop. But it's a theme, well, I'm not going to really complain about, to be honest, because it makes it a beautiful climb. Cut right into the cliffs. If you're afraid of heights, this might not be the climb for you. The Port de Valldemossa is home to a few houses and one restaurant, but don't eat too much because this road is the only way into the port. So once you've had time to take in the sights and enjoy the sea, you're heading straight back up and you'll be climbing 380 metres in 5 kilometres. So it's not a small climb by any means. Moving stateside now to one of the best climbs in LA, if not the whole of the US. Mulholland Drive rises out of LA towards the West Ridge Canyonback Wilderness Park, and it is an epic road offering amazing views of the city of LA. Now, it's a bit different to other climbs on this list, being that its scenery is shaped by man rather than by nature, but it makes it no less spectacular. The climb itself is 4% gradient, which is a little more mellow than the drag I've just come up, but it's a spectacular climb with beautiful views of the cityscape and also amazing rolling roads. So if you like your climbs a little more gradual, this one's for you. Girona has become somewhat of a hive of professional cyclists in recent years, with many moving to the town for the European race season to live and train. And it's easy to see why, with plenty of beautiful long flat roads but also lots of mountainous terrain too. And also the climate is pretty good too. One of the most beautiful roads near Girona is the Coast Road, which runs fairly uninterrupted along the whole east coast of Spain. However, this section in particular is around 20 kilometers long, close to Tossa del Mar, and the road twists and turns, rises and falls next to the Mediterranean Sea, and it really is a stunner. There's plenty of places to stop for a coffee, or maybe even a bite to eat. And I think this road has got to be up there with one of the most beautiful roads in the world. Norway is an absolutely stunning country and home to a rather large amount of pretty brilliant cyclists. Now, one road that is particularly beautiful in the country is the climb of Trollstigen, or the Troll Wall, which is found on the east coast of Norway. Norway is a particularly unique country in that most of the climbs start at sea level before rising up to high altitude, creating the striking fjords and valleys which are instantly recognisable. Trollstigen is a great example of this. Starting at 30 metres altitude, it climbs 700 metres in just 9 kilometres, and at the top you're rewarded with some beautiful glacial views and also views of some extraordinary lakes. Now, if you are brave enough, there is the Trollstigen Triathlon, which uses the climb of the Troll Wall and then an off-road run to the top of the mountain. Oh, sounds like one for our friends at GTN, doesn't it? Well, to be honest, I'd like to give that a go. Sounds awesome. The Elan Valley is so close to GCN HQ, yet it feels like you're a million miles from anywhere when you're riding there. Home to some amazing gravel routes, the Elan Valley is not lacking in beautiful paved roads either. Sounds like a great place for my canyon grail, doesn't it? For example, National Cycle Route 81 from Elan Village to Aberystwyth on the coast, following some beautiful open rolling country roads in mid-Wales with some gorgeous views of scenic reservoirs. And you also could hop off-road for some added excitement, throw in a couple of gravel sectors maybe. This is a quintessentially British route, comprising of lots of narrow country lanes and plenty of steep climbs to liven things up too. It's on plenty of British riders' bucket lists, and well, we can't wait to get out and ride it soon. Okay, this is my addition to the list. South East Ireland at its finest. Now this route is the Copper Coast Road, a scenic route running from Rosslare in Wexford to Dungarvan in Waterford. 166 kilometres in total, so it's quite a long one. But this is Ireland at its most epic, in my opinion. On a summer's day, it's beautiful like this, but also on a winter's day, it's equally beautiful. Sometimes you'll have the waves crashing over this road, creating quite a scene. And I've done some training rides in the winter where that's been happening, I tell you, it's an experience. Now, there's plenty of little towns and villages you can turn off, get a bite to eat. You also have the Waterford Greenway, which you saw in the introduction of this video, which is a beautiful 40-kilometre segregated bike path. Now, on this route, I think this spot is my favourite for sure. Looking out to the sea here, you have the old copper mine, which kind of gives the route its name, the Copper Coast Road. And also you have the town of Bonita in the background. And this is stunning. Favourite road, love it. This has got to be on the list for sure. Onto a very different route now, and the Shimanami Kaido route in Japan, which crosses not one, not two, but 6 bridges in total across the 70 kilometres from Japan's main island Honshu to the smaller island of Shikoku, crossing 6 islands in the process. The views across the whole length of the Shimanami Kaido route are really something to behold, and there's definitely potential for an epic cycling adventure here, I think. Now, you may be wondering about the possibility of busy traffic on the route. However, there is a segregated bike path across the whole length of the Shimanami Kaido, which means it's possible to enjoy the route without the worry or the stress of traffic. And you know, Japan is a nation that is rich in cycling heritage and culture, and we for one cannot wait to do this route. Right, now this is one incredible route. Pick any stretch of tarmac in Iceland and it's likely to be rather spectacular. But there's one place in particular which is pretty special. The Snæfellsnes Peninsula on the west of Iceland is really a remarkable place to ride a bike. A full lap of the road around the peninsula is 150 kilometers. So this isn't a short route by any means, but it's a route which will reward you with some spectacular views. On a clear day, you'll be able to see the glacier-capped mountain of the Snæfellsnes, which rises up to 1,500 meters altitude. The centre of the earth is said to be found within the mountain, according to Jules Verne's 1864 novel. If you're into barren landscapes, remote routes, and spectacular scenery, then Iceland and the Snæfellsnes Peninsula is definitely for you. And I'll tell you what, I think it's for me as well. So there you go, some of the most beautiful roads in the world. But what have we missed? What would you have liked to have included on the list which we didn't fit in there? Please let us know in the comments section below. And I hope you've enjoyed my little ride along the Copper Coast Road here in Southeast Ireland. And seeing as the weather's so good and I'm here with the Grail, I guess I better head off into the mountains, see if I can find some new routes or roads. Right. Thanks for watching everyone. See you soon. Good luck.